This is Martin Parker, Director of the MSc in Sound Design. What's this, Martin?
That's a microphone. Yeah, it's a Behringer B2 Pro, which is a very cheap and nasty microphone that you can change its polar pickup pattern. It's important to have some cheap microphones because then you can sort of drop them and not worry about them. You stick them in unpleasant places and not have to worry that you've just broken a £1,000 mic. We also have some really good quality microphones too, but it's nice to have a stock with you.
And do you take these with you when you travel around?
Yeah.
Well, I noticed on Google Calendar that you've done a lot of travelling lately, or at least in the last 12 months. Where have you been?
I've been to Japan. That's a pretty big trip. 2 weeks travelling around various art galleries, doing little tiny sound performances with an artist called Alan Johnson. Yeah, I took this.
What's that, Martin?
Which is a MIDI drum pad. It's a very simple, lightweight device. You just tap it and it gives you some sort of information which is picked up by my computer. And then, I don't know if you'll be able to see these, but here. I put these little loudspeakers around the walls of the gallery that I was performing in, around the audience, and they excited the surfaces of the walls.
And why do you have it on your door here? Is it like a door?
It's just a test. It's not actually wired up. But
it sounds as though a lot of what you do involves performance as well as composition. Is that the case?
Yeah.
Which do you prefer, composing or performing?
Well, I think they're the same thing.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I do a lot of improvisation. I play in a group with a colleague, Michael Edwards here, called Lap Slap, and we try to make one of the things we say about ourselves is we try to make well-formed music in real time. So we're performing and kind of using our experience as composers to produce a music that kind of flows but makes sense from where it began to where.
Is this what in the old days before sound design we would call improvisation?
Yeah, it's improvised, but it's not.
But you use a lot of electronic equipment,
yeah,
and there is a composed element.
Yeah, well, it's not like anything can happen. We wouldn't suddenly throw some meat out onto the stage and start, flying kites or whatever. It's not that open. It's quite carefully thought out pieces of software that we develop that react to acoustic situations and respond in quite sensitive.
So it involves craft.
Yeah.
You teach, you manage the MSc in sound design, and do you teach the students this sort of material?
Yeah, I think it's important to open people up to or encourage investigation in this area. I think it pertains very well to sound design, which it's the traditional notion of what sound design is a kind of craft where you're sitting in front of a screen or in a studio chopping up pieces of tape or pieces of audio and synchronizing them to film. But even that act requires an improvisational approach. I guess the biggest tradition of that is Foley.
What's Foley?
A Foley artist is a guy who will perform alongside a piece of film to give real human action to moving image that couldn't be recorded at the time that the image was being filmed.
And that's done through sound.
Yeah.
It's a sonic phenomenon.
It's a sound thing set up by Jack.
Now,
Foley.
we haven't yet asked you what sound design is, and maybe we won't, but tell me, do your students have to be musicians to do a sound design?
Not at all, but generally the trajectory of someone finding themselves as a sound designer will be that they've had some experience of music, some musical energy that's they may have been working in their bedrooms as sort of composers with computers and whatnot, and want to refine and improve their craft in that area.
Now, you've had over 100 students that have come through the sound design program, including digital composition and performance and other courses as well. Tell me, what have you learnt from these students?
Well, we still can't pin down what sound design is. It's impossible.
Every student has a different interpretation.
Every student has a different idea of what it could be and what it should be for them. In particular, there have been some students who've produced some excellent work that crosses the boundaries that I'm interested in, but is still really sound designerly and performance and improvisation all in the one one package.
So it sounds like the whole field is pretty open-ended. What do you think is the future of sound design?
Well, it's all around you. One of the futures is
Big heavy loudspeakers.
big heavy loudspeakers. Yeah, there's going a big. I think everybody's going to start working in multi-channel seriously soon, because the cost of the equipment's getting cheaper, and the systems have now become sort of understandable and easy to use. I also think that while it's going to expand, it's also going to decrease in size, and I think these kinds of devices are also going to play a really important role in sound is going to play a really important role in the way these things develop.
So in time, everyone will be a sound designer.
Well, possibly, yeah. If they can make their own ringtone and stick it on the telephone, then that's it.
That's
yeah.
it. That's a good place to stop. Thank you, Ralph.